Hi, good evening, everybody. So this journey, which will be new for some of you, but some of you have already witnessed this set of slides, which I have been actually showing for past maybe 2 years. And the first witness was done by none other than a few members who are with here, Rohit and Deepadi, who I think they have witnessed this particular set of slides here in with me, but still always seeing something old with a new perspective makes you feel more comfortable with these identifications. And today's topic, I am telling you that clues for blues, and I'm going to actually restrict my talk about some common and some uncommon blues of found in basically Western Ghats. So Western Ghat has got 102 species of blues. 102. If I start covering 102 species, so I have to skip all of us to skip our winners. So I'll not do that. There are species which are really distinct from each other, and we will not deliberate upon those blues which are very distinct and they can be easily distinguishable from each other. But we are going to really focus upon blues which are very similar to each other, and yeah, yeah. And if you have questions, we will take the questions at the end of the session. We'll have some question answer sessions. Please bear with me till I finish my talk. So I will try to be slow. I will not rush through my slides. We have to go with about 28 to 29 slides before we can have questions. Sharon, I'm starting now.
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. Now, first of all, how to identify basically butterflies? How do you identify butterflies? Basic identification features. There are specialized identification features. The basic identification features includes the size of the butterfly, the geometry of the butterfly, the base color of the butterfly, the flight pattern of the butterfly, the perching posture of the butterfly. These are the basic indicators that can be used by people who are novice, and they can at least can tell easily whether it's a blue or a papillonide or a pirate or a Hesperidae. They can tell that by seeing the basic indicators. But still, apart from that, there are specialized indicators. There are veins and spots and ocelli on butterflies. So those are specialized indicators that makes those similar species different from each other. That's how we differentiate similar species from one another. Even the color of the eyes do matter for some species which are very cryptic in nature. They are very close to each other. And if at all everything fails, then we have got the laboratory procedures. We have to have a specimen in our hand and give it to laboratory, and it has to be dissected, and even those procedures are elaborate and requires scientific hands, and it is not the task of naturalists like us to go into the details of laboratory procedures. I'll tell you why in blues we require to have laboratory procedures, especially those Nakaduba species, those six-line blues. These six-line blues sometimes are so confusing that we need to dissect them and have a specimen in our hand and to check them. Even the curates, those sunbeams are also in northeast. They are quite confusing. So, and spindacis also silver lines. Sometimes silver lines are also very confusing, and it's difficult to see and identify and distinguish those silver lines. Some of the silver lines from one another, especially I'm not talking about the silver lines of Western Ghats, quite distinct and easily distinguishable, at least from the opening wing or the closed wing. But I'm talking about silver lines of northeast. So there are few families or genus of butterflies which require laboratory procedures. So I'll go to the next slide. Now, why we need to study as a butterfly enthusiast the various parts of the wing? Because it is known to most of the people who are actually viewing this slide what are the parts of butterfly wing. So especially in blues, this matters. Even in skippers, this matters a lot. Not only skippers, even nymphalids also, there are marks which are very prominent and a prominent place in the wing, which makes them different from each other. In butterflies see that these terms should be remembered for a person who wants to dive into in this ocean of butterflies and learn about butterflies. They should know where is an of a wing, how many wings are there? Four wings that all of us know. And how where is the apex, where is the termen, where is the dorsum, where is the costa, and where is the base, where is the cell, and beyond that, they should also know the various areas. There's a basal area, there's a post-basal area, there's a discal area, there's a post-discal area, and there are marginal and apical areas. The apical areas, the near the apex. So these areas should be known to us. And beyond that, if you want to, actually expand your knowledge, and you need to learn about the veins. There are veins in the hind wing and forewing. The number of veins in hind wing are less than that of the forewing. Forewing have more number of veins, and we should have some knowledge about the veins, where the veins originate and where they end. And based upon that, how many veins the cell, how many veins do not originate from the cell. Those things we must understand. If you see in my bottom left, there is a vein which is 1 and 1A, which actually generates from the base of the wing and not from the cell. And all of the veins, they originate from the cell. So that's how we identify butterflies, by looking at the veins, the spots in the veins, and various zones in the wing. We try to decipher the identity of butterfly. This will take some time for newcomers to actually go through it. But a prolonged study, maybe a period of 6 to 7 months, if you devote on identification of butterflies, you will become experts, because we have got a lot of visual stuff available online. There are various websites which deal with identification of butterflies. There's social media, there are people ready to help you out with identification of butterflies. And of course, there are books which help you to identify butterflies. Now I come to the real story. Now we are here to distinguish between similar species. Okay. Now there are two very, very similar species which are found in Western Ghats. These two are, rather three. The third one is a little bit distinct, so I'm not including that third one, that indigo flash, in this particular screen. We have got a slate flash, and to my right, and the red flash on my left. So if you want to distinguish between the two by looks, it is quite difficult, because both look almost the same. We have seen that there are few variations in the bands in the wing, but that is not very prominent for identification. The best way to distinguish between a slate flash from a red flash is to check the cilia. If I go and try to mark the cilia in front of you, here you see in the red flash, the cilia is red. Always the cilia is red. If you can see the cilia in the slate flash, which is not red, that makes the slate flash different from a red flash. Otherwise, both of them look almost the same. I have seen very confusing specimens in the wild, and it was difficult for me to distinguish from just looking at the underwing, hindwing patterns. Of course, in the forewing, they are quite obvious that red flash is having red, both males and females, whereas the slate flash, male is having a lot of blue in it, and the female is grayish, blackish gray. These two are very, very common species which are in the Western Ghats, and not only Western Ghats, they are distributed almost everywhere in the peninsular India. But apart from there, there is a flash which is a Malabara flash, which I have given here in a small image, which is quite distinct, and it will not be compared sex pouch here. The pheromone pouch all the both the specimen of male of slate and red flash have this pouch. This pouch makes it a male, and it is easy to distinguish a male from a female. The absence of this pouch makes it a female, and the presence of the pouch, which is very prominent, makes it a male. So this is about these two very common. I'm not going to discuss much about these two rare butterflies which are not commonly seen in Western Ghats. Western Ghats, this is not there. This is not there in Western Ghats, but this is found in Western Ghats. And why I have included copperfly, because it was photographed from Central India. So I go to the next slide. I have got the third flash, which is not as common as the red and slate flash, but locally common in various areas. So this is the indigo flash, and a very similar blue, which is a cornelian. Sometimes I have seen many of my friends, they try to they confuse between these two, cornelian and an indigo flash. So distinguishing feature about the cornelian, that indigo flash is a broad band. Can you see the broad band? This band is very broad as compared to all the bands are broad as compared to your slate and red flash. First, second is this end cell, the cell band. This end cell band is called the end cell band. This touches the post-discal. This is called the post-discal band. This band is the post-discal band. This end cell band, it touches and merges with the post-discal band, and this makes it a indigo flash, which is the different from your red and slate flash. You can see here these two bands. This particular end cell band is not touching anywhere near the post-discal band. So there in both the cases, in slate flash also it is not touching. It is separate, and your it is separate. Okay, that's how they are different from each other. So this is about indigo flash, but how it is different from cornelian. As you can see in the hind wing, that the post-discal band of cornelian is broken. Here you can see it is broken, whereas in case of a indigo flash, it is a straight lines. The band is straight. There is no breakage in the band, whereas in a cornelian, it is broken. That's how it is easy for you to distinguish between a cornelian and a indigo flash. Of course, if you see the open wing, cornelian is quite different from an indigo flash. Indigo flash is having blue on its for the male, and cornelian male is red. And now you see, you will be surprised to see that how a cornelian and this red flash are very similar to each other. As you can see, that cornelian and red flash both has got males have got vibrant red on the open wing. So how to distinguish between this cornelian and the red flash? It is easy. When you see the cell here, in the case of cornelian, it is black. It is very dark colored, whereas this is not the case with your red flash. There is no dark coloration in the cell. It is very easy to distinguish a cornelian open wing. Also, we'll see that in the case of red flash, this hind wing, this coloration is actually it is not always visible. This particular patch, this is very prominent in cornelian, which is not there in the case of red flash. But most common feature to distinguish between the two is the presence of a dark colored cell and absence of a dark colored cell in the case of a red flash. That's how we distinguish between a red flash and a slate flash. Also, if you see the indigo flash, the color is uniform. The male's color is uniform blue on the indigo blue at the top. Whereas in the place of slate flash, you can see blue and very deep colored blue and a sheen of pale blue or the royal blue on the wings. It is very deep blue. It is not black. It is very, very deep blue, and it is having some sheen of light, and that is your royal blue also is there, or maybe not royal, some other blue. But in the case of indigo flash, it is very, very uniformly colored. That's how we distinguish between an indigo flash and a slate flash males. Okay, so this is how we distinguish these two, Cornelian and indigo flash. Also, I have given you the distinction between a red flash male and a Cornelian. Now I come to the guava blues. So there are two guava blues found in Western Ghats, and other two guava blues found. Both have very similar, but you can see it's very easy to distinguish. In the large guava blue, we'll find a spot here. Can you see near the costa? This spot, hindwing costa. There is a the spot here which is missing in the common guava blue. Also, you may find very good similarity between Cornelian hindwing and a guava blues hindwing. Similar breakage is there. Can you see? I'll show you the Cornelian here. Cornelian also having a breakage in the hindwing postdiscal band, and a common guava blues also having same type of band. So how to distinguish between them? The distinguish is color of the eye. In case of Cornelian, the eyes are black. The eyes are black, and in case of a guava blue, the eyes are brown. That's how we distinguish between a guava blue from the Cornelian. This Cornelian is having a black eye. This guava blue is having a brown eye. And of course, if you see the open wing of a guava blue male, it is having bright blue, and female is having spots of yellow at the wing. That's the female. There's a female here, and they have the male is a blue, quite vibrant blue, much more like a slate flash male. It is resembling the slate flash male. But if you see the colors, slate flash is having a black colored eye, and this guava blue is having a brown colored eye. And large guava blue is quite distinct from the common guava blue. And of course, the males look almost similar in the open wing, and the female is quite different. The female of large guava blue is quite different from that of the common guava blue. These are the two guava blues available. They both feed on on the fruits, and they are known pests to various fruits like your guava, and even they are found inside your pomegranate fruits. When you purchase these pomegranates and guavas from market, if you see a hole in that particular guava, you set assured that there is a possibility of a guava blue inside that. You rear that, you'll enjoy that rearing. So that's one thing I wanted to say. And lyocards. Okay, one is the most common, is found in the city areas. This is the Indian surname. The Indian surname is found in the city areas. The Shiva surname is found in the Western Ghats and in the riparian river forest, and even the Angle surname also is found in the riparian river forest. Now you see that that Indian surname doesn't have any markings on the hind wing. It is white, milky white. The color is milky white, and you will not find any sign of spots or bands on the hind wing. That makes it very prominent from other sunbeams. In the case of a Shiva sunbeam, you will see that there's a band which originates from the apex of the forewing and goes straight to the base of the hind wing. That's how this band is very evenly present, almost evenly present in the case of Curitis Shiva. In the case of Angle sunbeam, I want to tell something about Angle sunbeam, because Angle sunbeam is found not only in your Western Ghats, it's also found in the Western, that is that Eastern India, also in the Assam and Bengal. There's a sunbeam which is also found very common in that area, which is called the bullish sunbeam. Curitis bullish, or the bright sunbeam. So bright sunbeam is very similar to the Angle sunbeam. To differentiate the bright sunbeam from the Angle sunbeam, we see that this band which is coming from this forewing, this band and this end cell band, they are in line, almost in line. When they are in line, we say that it's a Angle sunbeam. If this band is shifted upwards and not in line with this end cell band, it is a bright sunbeam. In case of people who are joining me from east, that's a kind of knowledge for them. I'm not going to go into details of that, but you can see that in case of this acute sunbeam or the angle sunbeam, this extension of the band. This is a very old specimen, so I'm able to show it. There's an extension of this band in the forewing, which goes to the hind wing also, and this is in line with the end cell band. This is the cell area. This is the end cell band here, and it is in line with the end cell band. That makes it a acute sunbeam or angle sunbeam in the Western Ghats. And it is quite different from Shiva sunbeam. But you see the open wing of these three curates. You will be surprised to see that, you'll be interested to see that in acute sunbeam and Shiva sunbeam, the males, they look same, almost similar. You can see the wing, but the difference is, that's why it is called tooth sunbeam also sometimes, because the presence of a notch. There's a presence of a notch in the open wing of the forewing. In that the band here, we'll see that there's a notch. This notch makes it a angle sunbeam, and the absence of notch in the case of the Shiva sunbeam makes it a Shiva sunbeam. When you see in the wild a photograph of Shiva sunbeam and acute sunbeam, you'll be able to distinguish between the two with the open wing by seeing the absence or presence of the tooth or the notch on the forewing. Both the forewings have this notch. And in your Indian sunbeam, this brown portion is quite limited to the apical area. It is not spread as much as in the case of your Shiva sunbeam and the angle sunbeam. That's how we differentiate between. It is very common. Most common butterfly in the city limits is this Indian sunbeam. They breed on the Pungamia or Pungamia tree, and they are very, very common. The caterpillars are so cute that you know, just like a doll, it looks like a doll caterpillar of sunbeam. You can web test this in the website. I found butterflies on various social platforms. You'll find the caterpillars of all the three life cycles have been done, and all the three caterpillars looks almost similar. Now, I come to the next portion, which is the hedge blues. Often we'll find that hedge blues are quite confusing. Hedge blues are quite confusing, and they create problems for identification during the in the wild. So what I'll do is basically I will try to decipher the code of identification of hedge blues. See, there are two hedge blues which are found in our in the city limits, or one is in the eastern side of the Western Ghats, and one is in the western side, and it is commonly found everywhere. This Indian Malabar common hedge blue. This hedge blue and this lilac hedge blue, so they both have a spot in the space 2B here, 1B rather. This spot is present in these two. That's how this is different from other hedge blues. And the second difference which I'm going to tell you is how to differentiate between these two, lilac hedge blue or the Hampson's hedge blue and the Malabar common hedge blue, is you see the post-discal band here, these three spots. These three spots make a symbol of division or percentage, whatever you say. This symbol which is present in common hedge blue is a kind of a division which is present in common hedge blue. Please don't present here. And second one, you see in the case of your lilac hedge blue, this is not present, and the bands are curvilinear. In a own single curve, the bands are in a single curve, which is not the case with in the common hedge blue. The bands are not in a curve. So that's how these two are different from each other, but they look very similar. Sometimes even experts get confused by the presence of this forewing post-discal spots. Okay, so you'll be very when you go to the field, and mostly we'll see common hedge blues only. But in the local areas of Tamil Nadu, you'll find this lilac hedge blue, which is different from the common hedge blue. It's also called Hampson hedge blue, and this is having, both the hedge blues are having the spot. This spot makes it different from other hedge blues. All the other hedge blues, do not have this spot. Whether it is a common hedge blue or whether it's a white disc hedge blue or a white hedge blue or a plain hedge blue. You see, the figures are small, but I will try to increase the size if possible. It is okay. I'm trying to increase the size here. You see, in the case of this, in this hedge blue, the spot is missing. And if you see in this hedge blue also, there is no spot here. And in the white disc hedge blue, there is no spot. So we have got three more hedge blues. One is called the plain hedge blue, which is found in the lower and mid elevations of Western Ghats, including Bangalore, and white disc and butterflies, they are found in the higher altitudes of Western Ghats. In Karnataka, we have found white hedge blues in Kodagu and that area, Kodagu, we have found it in Kodagu. And this white disc hedge blue we have seen in Munnar. The white disc hedge blue, how to differentiate between white disc hedge blue, I'll show you. Now, if you have a white disc hedge blue, it is found in the higher altitudes, 1,000 meters and above. I've seen it in Munnar. It's very commonly found in Munnar. Even the white hedge blue is also commonly found in Munnar at mid elevations and higher elevations. So this white disc hedge blue is not having the spot here. Even white hedge blue is not having the spot here. And the plain hedge blue is also not having the spot. That is very clear for all of us. Now, how to differentiate between a common hedge blue from a white disc hedge blue? You see here, the band is quite obvious. It's like a staircase. Can you see? This post discal band is like a staircase, as a hump. It goes and it goes up and it goes down, and just like a hump it is there. So I'll go and draw it for you if it's possible. Then okay, I will draw it. The hump is like this. This is the hump in the case of white disc hedge blue. This is the hump. That makes it different from the common hedge blue and other similar hedge blues. And in a plain hedge blue, this band is quite curvilinear. This band is curvilinear. It is a curve. Unlike the white hedge blue, this band is curved. And of course, there are two spots at the base of the hind wing. Again, I will increase the size. You can see that there are two spots that makes it a plain hedge blue. And of course, if you find a plain hedge blue and a white disc hedge blue together in one spot, which actually doesn't happen because plain hedge blues are not found in that higher altitude. In higher altitude, you'll find only these two hedge blues. One is the white hedge blue and one is the white disc hedge blue. The white hedge blue is quite white. Unlike the white disc hedge blue, you can see the base color also is a different kind of white, which is more brighter white in case of white hedge blue, and in the case of white disc hedge blue, it is a bit duller white, dull white. And this white disc hedge blue is a bigger insect than the white hedge blue. White hedge blues is very prominently seen. That is, it can be distinguished from other hedge blues easily because the marking, the spots. If you can see the spots on the wing, we'll find that in case of white hedge blue, the spots at the margin of the hind wing and the forewing are very, very prominent. And there is an absence of, we can say, a post-discal band. There are no post. There's a discal band, and there is a what do you say, that marginal band. But in case of this other hedge blues, we have got a post-discal band also, which is absent in the case of white hedge blue. That's how we differentiate between these hedge blues. So when you go into the field, we'll find that, sorry. Okay, I have to click this, which was there. Okay, I was into hedge. Okay, I was the hedge blues. I think there is no doubt to distinguish between this lilac hedge blue and Malabar common hedge blue and the white disc and the white hedge blues. And there is another very similar butterfly, which is called the Malayan. Malayan, you can see, which is a very small insect as compared to the hedge blues. And you'll find that all these hedge blues doesn't have a tail. They don't have a tail. If you see the Malayan, it is a top image which I have for you. This is the Malayan. That differentiate a Malayan very easy. You will find in Malayan that at the costa of forewing, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 streaks. These streaks are very prominent for a Malayan. These are not present in any hedge blues. If you see all the hedge blues, you see these streaks are not present at the costa of the forewing. You see this costa, there are 4, 5 spots. These streaks are there, horizontal streaks, which makes it a Malayan. And this is a small insect, and it is found at various altitudes from low elevation to mid elevations. Malayan is found. So I'll go to the next slide. I come to Babul Blues. So you'll be surprised how to distinguish Babul Blues. So Babul Blues, first and foremost, the two common Babul Blues which are having is a bright Babul Blue and the African Babul Blue. To my left is the bright Babul Blue. To my right is the African or Syrian Babul Blue, we call it. The distinguished feature of these Babul Blues, especially the bright Babul Blue, we have got 2 coastal spots in case of bright Babul Blue, and in case of this African Babul Blue, these 2 spots are inconspicuous. It is not visible. There are spots, sometimes it is inconspicuous and you will not be able to see that. And secondly, you'll see that in case of that African Babul Blue, you'll find the marginal area is quite prominent with 3 black spots, which is not the case of in the bright Babul Blue. Will not find it. Okay, and both of these Babul Blues are having the posterior outer margin of the cell, which is very bright brown. Can you see? This is bright brown, the cell outer margin of the cell. It is having a bright brown here. Similarly, it is also having a kind of bright brown here, both of them. But to distinguish it from the dull Babul Blue, now comes the dull Babul Blue. All those will be surprising how to distinguish between a dull and a bright Babul Blue. It is now quite obvious that we will be able to distinguish between a bright from the dull by looking at the image of the dull Babul Blue. You'll see that in case of dull Babul Blue, the outer margin of the cell of the forewing doesn't have the brown. It is brown is missing. Can you see? The brown is here and the brown is missing. So when you see in the field, especially those my friends from Bangalore, the cell spot, the coastal spots are also present here. They are very inconspicuous. They may be present, they may not be present. They may be present with a very small and very insignificant spots. But the major difference is this streak, the streak which is present in case of the bright and the African Babul Blue, but not in the case of your dull Babul Blue. I think today we have cracked one identification key of the Babul Blues. Next time you go, and those who have gone today to Savandurga, there's a team which went to Savandurga today from Bangalore. They must have photographed some of the Babul Blues there. And we have reports from dull Babul Blue from Savandurga and near Bangalore. And now there are, they can try to find out whether it's a that is bright Babul Blue or a dull Babul Blue. We'll discuss with them later. Okay. Now I'll go back, and you see that the open wings are not very commonly shown by these Babul Blues. They don't show their open wings. We have to always bear with their closed wings also only, and they are found in mud puddling and in the soil, moist soil. We'll be finding often in flowers also they are seen, and they breed on various acacia species. Acacia, Katachu is their favorite host plant. The flowers, they will breed on the flowers. I come to the next set of images. We have got the gram blue and the forget me not. I'll come to others also. The gram blue. Now gram blue has got a very distinctive feature. So to distinguish the gram blue, you must see the hind wing first. Very important. The hind wing should be seen. You see this last spot in the hind wing is separated from the post-discal band. First of all, That is the main key feature to identify gram blue from other blues, similar blues. Secondly, the coastal spot on the hindwing is also at a different distance from the postdiscal band. This coastal spot in the hindwing is at a distance from the postdiscal band. That makes it a sky blue. And also, you see that two orange crowned tonal spots are there. They are very prominent, almost oval in rather semi-circular in nature, or rather almost complete circle, and they're of almost same size and very orange, bright orange to bright yellow, lemonish yellow, or rather orangish yellow colored crowns are there. And very prominent color. Both the spots are very prominent. That makes it a gram blue. And gram blue open wings are also with you. We can. I'm not going to much discuss about the open wings. Where there is a confusion, I'll talk about open wing. When you see the forget me not, the best identification feature of the forget me not is the presence of a coastal spot on the forewing. This spot is very prominent in case of a forget me not, which is not present in other species of the similar species like a gram blue or a plains cupid or a small cupid. This spot is absent. And of course, if you see that if you see that the hind wing, there is a C forming here. This C, this postdiscal band, there is a C forming. This C formation is very prominent in case of a forget me not, which is not the case with other similar blues. There's another forget me not which is found in the Western Ghats, recently photographed from Chinnar, which is the silver forget me not. It is a part of the silver Western Ghats Tailless. Let me mark it, then I'll increase the size. You see that in the case of a silver forget me not, there is a spot. This coastal spot is very close or touching the postdiscal band. In case of forget me not, this coastal spot does not. It is separated from the postdiscal band, and in case of silver forget me not, it touches the postdiscal band. Other differences are also there in the open wing. When you see the open wing, you'll be able to find the differences. And the color is quite different. It's silvery color in the silver forget me not, and it is a bright royal blue in the case of oriental forget me not. That's how the difference between these two. And I think I'm done with this. These two similar butterflies, but there are more coming for you. You see that there's another differentiation which I've added here recently. The gram blue and the pea blue, they open wing, they look almost the same. The gram blue and the pea blue and the open wing, they look almost the same. How to differentiate between the gram blue and the pea blue, especially the two females? The two females are almost same. So the differentiation is, first of all, in the gram blue, these two spots are of same size, big. And in case of your pea blue, one spot is little inconspicuous, smaller than the first spot. And also, you'll see that in your pea blue, this particular spot, I'll just make it a bit larger. You see that the spot here, which is circular, and in case of gram blue, it is kind of a semicircular. It is not a full circle, but in the case of pea blue, it is circular. These are very minute observations, and you may not require this much of observations initially in the wild. So sometimes you also get confused to identify this. And also you see the gram blue, that yellow crown is very prominent, which is missing from the female of the pea blue. That's how the difference between, but otherwise they look almost same in the field. Of course, the color of the male is different in case of gram blue, and it's bright blue in the case of your pea blue. I come to the next slide. Oh, this is another one which is going to create problems. The pea blue, the plains cupid, the small cupid, and the lime blue. If you see the plains cupid, okay, and which is on my right, and the small cupid is on my left. how to distinguish between the plains Cupid and the small Cupid, as both of them occur at same places. So sometimes the same places. So I have found them in the same place. The plains Cupid, which breeds on cycas, and the small Cupid, which breeds on acacia. And you see that in case of a plains Cupid, at the base basal or the post basal, there are we can see that both this the distal area, there are 4 spots. There's an additional spot here. This is an additional spot which is not present in the case of a small Cupid. It is not present. This spot is absent here. This spot is not there. But sometimes we get a plains Cupid without this 4th spot. Sometimes we not get a species which is very common, very similar to your plains Cupid, and the small Cupid are very similar. How to distinguish between the two then? When you find small plains Cupid without the 4th spot, which is in between the second and the last one, these 2 spots. You see this spot here, which is sometimes absent. That case, you will see that the crowns here, the tonal spots. In case of plains Cupid, the tonal spots are dissimilar. One tonal spot is very much reduced. The tonal spot at the base of the wing is very much reduced, but which is not the case with small Cupid. Both the spots are uniform and big. That's how when you miss the spot in the discal area of the hind wing, this 4th spot, then you look at the tonal spot. In case of plains Cupid, the last spot is reduced in the base, near the base, and in case of small Cupid, they are same in size. Then, of course, how you differentiate between gram blue and this. In gram blue, I told you that this coastal spot is separated. It's very near the margin. Whereas in case of plains Cupid and small Cupid, this spot touches the 4th discal band. This spot which I'm marking, it touches the 4th discal band. That's how we differentiate between a gram blue and a small Cupid or a plains Cupid. The lime blue is quite distinctive. These 2 Cupids have a tail. The lime blue doesn't have a tail. And of course, you will find, okay, there are 4 spots here. Sometimes I have seen some of my newcomers, they try to confuse between a plains Cupid and a lime blue. Oh, there are 4 spots here. That it must be a plains Cupid, but it is not. You have to check the post discal band, which is broken in the case of a lime blue, and it is continuous in the case of a plains Cupid. Should be careful about commenting or identifying plains Cupid and a lime blue. Of course, you can see that plains Cupid has a tail and lime blue doesn't have a tail. That's how we distinguish between a lime blue and a plains Cupid or a small Cupid. Now I come to the Pierrots. These are the distinctive Pierrots which are found in common Pierrot is very common everywhere. Then we have got this angle Pierrot and the banded blue Pierrot. The angle Pierrot and banded blue Pierrot, the difference is quite obvious. This basal streak is continuous from the coastal area of the forewing, and it goes uniformly to the base of the hind wing, which is not the case with Pierrot, and this particular basal band is reduced and never reaches the costa of the forewing. That's how we distinguish this angle Pierrot from the common, also from the banded blue Pierrot. The common Pierrot is quite distinctive, as you see. It is very common everywhere, and we have the wing patterns sometimes very similar to another butterfly which is called a dark Pierrot. That's how sometimes my novice friends who are beginners, they confuse with those Tarucus species. This is not a Tarucus species, though both of them breed on the same plant at same place and same locality also, but they are different. And you see, in case of a common Pierrot, this area is quite There's a road in this area. If you see this area, this is a road, open area. There are no spots here. And then gateway, I say gateway to identification. I say this is a road to identification. But in case of a dark Pierrot, there are, I've given a small image, of course, there are 4 spots which makes a kind of from, this is how it is arranged. The 4 spots in the hydrogen are arranged this way. This is the arrangement of the spots. In case of if I increase the image size, you can see that these 4 spots form a very regular pattern. There is no road. The road is missing. So in case of common Pierrot, there is a road. This road is there, and I'm talking in the terms of layman. You might be surprised why I'm talking in the terms of layman, because there are many people who have joined who have no idea about the discal areas or post-discal areas or bands and spots and spaces and veins. I'm not talking about that. So if you see this open area in case of common Pierrot, which is not the case with your dark Pierrot. Of course, common Pierrot is a city dweller, and dark Pierrot is found in the forested areas, near the rivers. Okay. Now I go to the next slide, which is the Ceruleans. The Ceruleans, if you see here, the common Cerulean, the post-discal band is continuous. It is continuous. And in the case of dark Cerulean, it is broken. This is broken post-discal band. But how to differentiate this particular dark Cerulean from the metallic Cerulean, which also occur in the Western Ghats? You see that the metallic Cerulean, which is always a bigger butterfly than the dark Cerulean. When you see in flight, you'll see that dark Cerulean has having brightest and the deepest of the blue of almost all the blues. That is how a dark Cerulean looks like. I've given a photograph here, this male of a dark Cerulean, which is so vibrant in color, but it is very difficult to see the open wing. They will never give you an open wing shot. So you have to be satisfied with the hind wing shot only, photograph. And you see that this brown color is quite dark. The base color of the wing is dark, and these spots on these markings are pale yellow, or rather it is pale yellow colored, pale yellow, or it's not white. In case of metallic Cerulean, you see it is very white. The spots are very white, and that's how we differentiate between a dark Cerulean, which is smaller insect than the metallic Cerulean. And of course, in case of metallic Cerulean also, the post-discal band is broken in the forewing, which is continuous in the case of a common Cerulean. Of course, common Cerulean has got a dry season form, which is shown here below, and you see that again this dry season form, this marking is continuous and it is not broken. In the case of metallic Cerulean and in case of dark Cerulean, this forewing band is in the forewing post-discal band is broken. That's how we differentiate between these 3 Ceruleans. Now the line blues. Okay, the more very crooked group. The common line blue is having a tail, and the tailless line blue does not have a tail. First and foremost identification of. Now you will ask me, of course, that sometimes if you don't have a tail in a common line blue, that doesn't make it a tailless line blue. Often in field, we also get confused whether it's a common line blue, because the markings are so variable that it requires a lot of patience and a lot of practice to actually distinguish between a common line blue and a tailless line blue. But in general, when you see in the field, the common line blue must have a tail, and the tailless line blue must not have a tail. And of course, one more thing I have to say, that how it is different from the line blue, which is the white tip line blue, which is also found in this same locality. It is a bigger insect than the common line blue and the tailless line blue. The difference is, first of all, the cilia is white in the tip of the apex of the forewing is white, as I have told here. And second, but more distinguishing feature of this is this cell band, which is restricted to the cell, and it does not go beyond this. Okay, in case of common line blue, you see the cell band which goes beyond this. It is there, it is available. This band is extending beyond the cell. But in case of the white tip line blue, this band is restricted inside the cell. That makes it different from common line blue. Of course, white tip line blue doesn't have a tail, and also the crowns or that tonal spot does not have a yellow crown. In case of your tailless line blue and the common line blue, there is a yellow crown in the tonal spots. In case of white tip line blue, this particular tonal spot does not have a crown. That's how we differentiate between these three line blues. I'm not going to go beyond these three line blues because there are other line blues which are numerous. There is a pale four line blue, there is a large four line blue, there are various six line blues, transparent six line blue, opaque six line blue, the Ceylon, dark Ceylon, dark banded Ceylon, six line blue. I'm not going to go into that. That is very tough for even me to identify in the field. So I'm not going to go into that. Of course, there are some identification features, but sometimes they're also confusing. Come to the grass blues. Grass blues have got pale grass blue, which on my left, the dark grass blue on my right. So how to distinguish between a pale and a dark? It is very simple. So first of all, pale grass blue is always larger than the dark grass blue. First and foremost, when you see a grass blue, and mostly the pale grass blue having a pale blue on cerulean blue at the top, and dark grass blue is having a different color, darkish blue on the open wing, and the grayish black in the female, in case of the female. But they won't generally give you an open wing shot, they will give a close wing shot. How to distinguish? The distinction is very simple. You see that discal band at the hind wing. The pale grass blue is having a curve, and the dark grass blue is having a straight line. There is a straight line of spots. If you can see, I have the lines of spots are straight, and in case of pale grass blue, this four spot make a curvature. That's how we distinguish a pale grass blue from the dark grass blue. The third grass blue, which is lesser grass blue, the size of a lesser grass blue is almost same as the dark grass blue, but it is very easy to distinguish because in the post-discal band of the hind wing, the two spots near the costa are separated from the curvature. It is broken out. This is broken out. That's how we differentiate between lesser grass blue from the pale grass blue or the dark grass blue. That's a very distinctive feature of the pale grass blue. And the last grass blue is the tiny grass blue, which is the tiniest of the all, and it always characterized by, when you see it sitting on the blade of a flower or a leaf or a flower, you'll find that it always wags its wings. It will keep on wagging its tail and the wing. And the distinguished feature is the upside down C. This mount is there in the case of a tiny grass blue, which is indicated here. This is present in tiny grass blue. It is very small, and of course the spots are also small, and you can easily distinguish between the other grass blues. Now I come to the real nutcrackers, the Tarucus. So people try to identify Tarucus from other. I'm going to consider three Tarucus. Of course, if you say I can go to the fourth one, there are we have recently written a paper on Tarucus. You can refer that paper, and it's a very massive paper. But here there are some distinguished features of a Tarucus. There is the most common one is this rounded Pierrot. Rounded Pierrot. Can you see? This is called the striped Pierrot, rounded Pierrot, rusty Pierrot, and these are the names given to this Tarucus nara or the rounded Pierrot. You see there are trees. First of all, in this nara, this post-discal band in the hind wing is not broken. Not broken. So I'll write that, not broken. And there are three spots here on the hind wing 5, 6, and 7. The 5, 6, and 7 spots, if you go see, the 6 as close to 7 and separated from the 5. So it is like this. Arrangement is like this. If you see, this is the spot number 5, this is the spot number 6, and this is spot number 7 in the vein. So these two are close to from the last one. This is different from, and also if you see in this species, the post-discal band of the forewing is having a narrow and wide radius. It is not having a short radius. It is the curvature is more and less. The curvature is less. It is almost uniform. In the case of this Balkanicus, you see this is going down. This spot is going. This band is going down. It is curving in much more than that of the rounded Pierrot. And of course, the other feature is these two spots are always in line. If you can draw a straight line, sometimes this is also there, but I don't consider it. Sometimes I've seen this spot is little bit away in this hind wing. But you see, these two spots are always in same line. If you draw an imaginary line, you'll see them. They are collinear. Okay, and they may be on these spots, these particular streaks, but they are collinear. So please make a note in the field whether we can identify this. Of course, the open wings are very, very different in case of Nara and your Balkanicus. In Balkanicus, the open wing male, there are quite a number of spots on the forewing, whereas Nara has a very prominent end cell spot on the forewing. That's how it is different from Balkanicus. The third one, which is found here, you see in case of a Calinara, the post-discal band is broken into spots. Broken into spots. First of all, second is the spots in the space 5, 6, and 7 are equidistant. These three spots are equidistance. That makes you very, very, very comfortable now. You can distinguish this Nara, Calinara, which is very, very distinct species when you see this post-discal band broken and the three spots are in line. So when you see them in the field, it will be easy for you to understand. And when you see the forewing of the Nara and the Calinara, they look almost same, but you see the difference is tonal spot, black spot is present in Nara, which is absent in the case of Calinara. There are no spots here in the tonus of the hind wing. When you open wing, you see. But I am not going to discuss about the females because females look almost same in the. There are of course features in female. I don't want to deliberate upon the open wing features of the female here. It is beyond the scope of this particular lecture. This is quite obvious, but it is very confusing. You see, because their spots are so variable, it requires really an expert's eye to distinguish between these three species. The fourth one is a Tarucus indica, which I am not actually making it. I'm not having an image of my own, so I did not put it. So that this cell spot is inconspicuous in the case of a indica. It is very minute, and of course, and the wing also is almost transparent because for that hind wing, the spots are visible from the forewing. That is how this transparent Pierrot we call it in Indian Pierrot, transparent Pierrot, because of the transparent Pierrot, but I call it a transparent Pierrot because the spots in the hind wing are all visible in the forewing. The shadow of the spots are visible in front of a light. You can see that. That's how these Pierrots are different from one another. The grass jewels, if you see, there is a oriental grass jewel, the putli, which is the smallest insect in our butterfly in our country, and we have got the grass jewel or the Tailless, which is another, which is almost similar to the other grass jewels. The difference is, if you see that the orange crowns in the hind wing of putli or the oriental grass jewel. This is limited. It's very, 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 the covers just uniformly covers the tonal spots. But in case of the grass jewel, this spot goes up to the post-discal band. This is quite obvious, and you see this fourth spot is very inconspicuous. It's not that bright also. It's not that black. It is very inconspicuous, but the main difference is this particular orange crown, which goes up to the post-discal band. That's how these two grass jewels are differentiated from one another. If you see this oriental grass jewel, which is more common, and it is found in the city limits, and it is found outside the outer areas. Of course, sometimes it is found in the city limits also, but it is not very common. This is more common, but so small that we often tend to ignore it. When we come to the ciliate blues, they have got two ciliate blues. One is found in the city limits. This is pointed ciliate blue, which is having one spot here and another spot at the base. These two spots, and in the common ciliate blue, there is only one spot. This coastal spot is missing. There is no coastal spot in the common ciliate blue. Of common ciliate blue is a Ghat species. It is not found in the dry areas or in the city limits of Bangalore, or the western part, the eastern part of the Western Ghats. It is not. It is commonly found in the Western Ghats. It is common ciliate blue. Silver lines. Okay. Now here comes the problem. We have got this common silver line, which is most common of all the silver lines. Okay. Then we have got a silver line which is Plumbous silver line. Which I should try to show you if I am having it. Okay. Let me see whether I can. Plumbous silver line. In the Plumbous silver line, in this base area of open way, there blue streaks are there in the male. I am just showing here with the mouse, my hand, there's a blue streak which is not present in the common silver line. That's how we differentiate between common silver line and the Plumbous. But in the close wing, there is no difference between a common silver line and a Plumbous silver line. There is not a single differentiation you can make. No AI can differentiate between a common silver line from a Plumbous silver line. That's quite variable. Instead, the colors and base colors also vary. But silver line, they are called because of the silvery structures on the streaks or the bands in the hind wing. There's a silver there in this silvery color. That's why they are called silver lines. There's another silver line which is called the common short silver line, which is very similar to another silver line called the scarce short silver line. But when you see the hind wing of a common short silver line, it is almost the same as in the case of a scarce short. So that's why I'm going to describe only the hind wing of common short silver line. You see that these spots, these three spots are unique, and they almost form a V-like structure, not fully but partially, which is not the case of a common silver line. It is not forming any V. Secondly, you see that there are in the hind wing there are spots. There is one spot here, the second spot here, and the third spot here. There are three spots here, and out of that, two are touching each other and one is separated. These are the identification features of a common short silver line. In the case of a long banded silver line, you see the V is very prominent. Long banded silver line, the V is very prominent. This bands are very continuous. They are continuous, and lastly, the third spot goes up to the base of the screen. If I increase the size, this third spot goes to the base of the screen and of the hind wing. That's how we differentiate between long banded silver line from the common short silver line. So in common short silver line, this spot is restricted, only one spot, and in case of a long banded, it's elongated. This spot is elongated, and of course the V structure is also different. Even if you see that there is the band is continuous in case of a long banded silver line, and in case of a common short and scarce short, these bands are not, it's broken into spots. And there is, and that's this open wing short. of the common short silver line and the scarce short silver line which I have put here. Scarce shots and common short, they look almost the same in case of the close wing. But in case of the scarce short silver line, this particular the blue band in the forewing is beyond the 2B. 2B, this is a 2B vein. It is beyond the 2B, and the spot at the forewing over the cell is very small spot here. In case of a common silver line, this yellow is very prominent, right, and very prominent in the forewing. And the blue is also missing. Sometimes the blue is seen, but blue never goes beyond 2B. The color blue may be up to 2B, but not beyond 2B. This patch, this blue, is only present in case of a scarce short silver line, which is not present in the case of a common short silver line. But of course, species are very variable. We have got other silver line in Western Ghats that's called the abnormal silver line, which is a very distinctive insect and a very rare butterfly seen. I'm not going to discuss about that here. We come to the oak blues. And you see there are two very similar oak blues found in Western Ghats, and sometimes they found together. This is the centured oak blue, and this is the large oak blue. The sizes are same, but you see the base color is quite different. This oak blue is orangish brown, and this is a very dull brown in case of a large oak blue. And of course, you can see this streaks in the forewing is very prominent in the case of a Tamil centured oak blue, and these streaks are not that even and a very inconspicuous in case of a large oak blue. That's how we differentiate between a Tamil oak blue and large oak blue. There are other oak blues also in the Western Ghats. There is a abnormal oak blue, aberrant oak blue, which is very common. But there is one oak blue which is called the rosy oak blue, which is very similar to an oak blue called Indian oak blue, which is basically not found in Western Ghats. It has never been reported from Western Ghats. We are still searching it in the Western Ghats. It is found the Indian oak blue, which is at the bottom. If you see that, there's an Indian oak blue here and rosy oak blue. They look very similar in the close wing. But the type localities are quite different, and even this Indian oak blue is a little smaller insect than the rosy oak blue, which is a larger butterfly. But otherwise, you say them for a novice, they look almost same because they are not present in the same locality. It is very easy to, if you see something very similar to Indian oak blue in the Western Ghats, it is a rosy oak blue. And if you find something like a rosy oak blue in the central India, you will get it in the Indian oak blue. That's how we distinguish between these oak blues. But they are very distinctive and easy to identify. Okay, there are Tamil oak blue is also there. There is another called many-tailed oak blue, which I have not put here. That's also another oak blue, which is very commonly seen in very locally common seen in Western Ghats. Now come to the royals. Three royals. There are many more royals, but three royals are commonly seen near the city limits. One is this peacock royal, the most common butterfly, peacock royal, and the plains blue royal and the white royal. Okay. First of all, I'll tell about this plains blue royal, which is smallest of all the three royals. All the three royals, it is smallest. The base of the wing, base color of the wing is very dull white, very dull off-white. In the case of peacock royal and the white royal, the white is very bright and it is bluish kind of white. In case of plains blue royal, it is grayish white. And the most significant difference is in the color of the eyes. This is black, this is gray, and this is brown. That's how we distinguish between the three royals. These are common royals. One is the peacock royal, plains blue royal, and the tufted white royal. And the color of the white, black, gray, and brown. Of course, the tonal spot of white royal is very prominent with a crown. The crown is very prominent. It is deep and goes up to very near to the postdiscal band. It's very prominent in case of, but in case of plains blue royal, this crown is very small. Of course, that's how we distinguish between a plains blue royal from a tufted white royal. And peacock royal is the most common one of them. And if you see the royal with black eyes, that means the peacock royal. And I told you earlier that royals have two pairs of tails. All the royals you see, they're having two pairs of tails, which is not the case with flashes. Flashes don't have two pairs of tails. The blues, the females have got an extra band in the open wing, which is absent in the case of a male. This is an extra band here you can see in the females, which is not there in the males. So this is about royals. I come to this leaf blues, and if you see that leaf blues, the female and the male, the female, there is a band which that band starts from the apex of the forewing, and it uniformly goes to the base of the hind wing. So this is the female, and the male is having a broad band. Unlike the female, which is having a very narrow and very prominent band, the male is also having a band which is not originating from the apex. It is shifted from the apex, and it goes, of course, down. It is quite diluted, kind of diffuse band in the case of a male. That's how we differentiate between leaf blue and a female and a male. I think I have taken how much time, Sharan? Sharan, hello, are you there? Sharan? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, Sharan? I'll take questions now. Hello? Hello, Sharan? Where is Sharan? Sharan is not there. Let me see why he's not there. I'll take questions from you. Hello? Okay. How to make you host? Okay. One second. I will stop screen sharing. Okay. Then I have to make you host. Where are you? Okay. I'll go to the participants. 1 minute. I'll go to the participants. Sharan. Okay. This has happened. Sharan. It is all. It will come in the case of Sharan. No, I cannot. No. Sharan is not there. Sharan Venkatesh. Okay. I will more make host. Okay, make host. Yeah. Yes. Sharan is host.
I'm so sorry. My internet went. My internet was lost, and I wasn't here for quite some time. So not an issue. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for giving all the clues for all the confusing blues out there. So I hope everyone enjoyed. We'll take up question and answer. So participants, if you have any questions, please send in the chat window so that I'll read it out to Ashok sir. Or I'll just unmute everybody so that if you have any questions, please.
Yeah, you can ask me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll unmute everybody.
Public
Oops. Participants, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself. I have given that permission.
Hello, good evening, sir.
1 minute, just give me a minute. How do I do that? Ashok sir, please unmute yourself. You're the co-host, sir. You need to unmute yourself.
Dada, you are on mute.
Okay, okay, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Monish. Tell me.
Sir, I have question that what are the difference between white cerulean and royal cerulean?
Oh my God, you are asking me something which is not the scope of the
You
job.
have not
Okay.
mentioned in the presentation.
Presentation
No,
is for
actually,
Western
I'm
Ghats.
we are talking about Western Ghats. We are not talking about no, Royal Cerulean and Glistening Cerulean and White Cerulean, the Pura,
Yes.
Electo, and all those things. Okay, so the identification keys are very, very distinguished, and even and I have not seen any of these in wild. Never been to Northeast, as I can tell you, Monish. So it will be very difficult for me if I see them. But of course, ID keys given in various literature. Go through that. For me, it will be very difficult for me to distinguish between these two, royal and white cerulean. It is not that easy. Even those who have identified them in the field, they had seen the specimen and especially the open wing of the specimen. So I think
Okay.
that clears. No, it is not even easy for me also to tell.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And so one more question.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, is guava blue found in Assam or Northeast?
You ask Monsoon and the other people in the Assam here. Actually, I told you, I have never been to Northeast. That is my issue.
Okay. Okay.
When
Okay,
I
sir.
go
Okay.
start going to Northeast now, then you can ask me 100 questions. I'll answer.
Okay. Sure, sir. Please welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Manish.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Manish. Anybody else?
We have one question from Raman Arora. He's asking, is there any app which provides us name of butterfly live at the time of clicking picture? As sometimes it is difficult to identify in
That's a
darkness.
very good question. And a web app has already come on this by Hari from I think, what is that? He is doing some very good work, AI based app he is developing. And shortly you will be seeing, I told you that it is not always possible to ID butterflies, especially the cryptic ones. You cannot ID a plumbeous silver line from a common silver line. No app can do that. No AI can do that. Okay. So there are limitations, but still they will be helpful in the field. But it is better to have a field guide with you other than relying on an app. You take a photograph and try to match with the field guide. A lot of field guides are available these days. Next one, please.
Yes, sir. Someone is asking, sir, I could not follow the difference between red flash and Cornelian. Can you please explain that again?
Okay. Red flash and Cornelian. Then again, I have to share the screen. Will I share it?
Yes, sir. If you want, you can share, or we'll stop it.
So I will not. Should I share the screen or leave it?
You can share the screen, sir.
Okay. I am sharing the screen again once again for you. I'll go to the page of Cornelian red flash. This Cornelian red flash. This one to say, I have to tell you. Let me start that slideshow once again, so that I can do the annotations. Okay. Can you see the two butterflies here? 1 minute. No, not next slide. Where is that? Okay. Can you see this Cornelian and red flash here?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. You see that cell of a Cornelian is brown, dark brown. Can you see this? Can you see this? Mouse by mouse. If I start annotating, then it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, I'm gone beyond. Okay, so let me try to show you the pointer options. Pen, and let me just do it once again for you. Can you see this cell here? This is brown, and in case of red flash, there is no brown. Can you see this? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can.
That's how we differentiate between Cornelian and a red flash in the field. That's the easiest way.
Sir,
this is also there. This brown is also very minute in case of a red flash. You will not be able to see that also. Okay, but Cornelian does show that.
So Bias is asking, can you please differentiate slate flash and indigo flash once again?
Slate and indigo. Yeah. Okay, great. See, in the slate flash, This first of all, this post discal band is very narrow. Okay, in those also this is slate flash. Not that is not a slate flash. This is a slate flash. This is a narrow band, and this post that band end cell, which is separated from this post discal band. These two bands are. This is one band is this way, and one is this way. This is the narrow post discal band, and this is the end cell band. They're separate. But in the case of that indigo flash, first of all, the bands are quite wide. This band is very wide, and you see the white is missing from the edge of the band in the forewing. Of course, that is also another difference. And this end cell band is basically touching this. This is the difference between that is indigo flash from the slate flash. I think I made it my point clear.
Yes, sir. Bias should answer. Bias, if you are there, please send in the chat window. Yes, sir. You have made it clear.
Thank you.
We have one question which says, sir, can you please mention about the conservation status among blues?
Conservation. See, most of the blues are least threatened. None of the blues are threatened. So there's nothing called a concept of threatened. There are rare species, there are uncommon species, but there is, in fact, in case of butterflies, there is no IUCN. Is there, Saran? I don't think so, na?
No, sir, there are not.
So IUCN is not there in case of butterflies. Of course, there are schedules are there. That Schedule 1, Schedule 2, and Schedule 4. That is Wildlife Schedule Act. That is there, but there is no concept of IUCN red list or white list, something like that. There's nothing like that. Okay, but there are, see, if I'm talking about royals, I've gone to royals here. There are royals in Western Ghats which are very, very rare, and we have only seen very few specimens of royals from the Western Ghats. So that is a spotted royal. If you have heard of a spotted royal, have you heard of a spotted royal?
You're asking me, sir?
No, I'm talking about the question who have asked. Status.
Status. Redmi 1. The question is for you. Have you heard of spotted royal? Please reply in the chat window. No, sir. He's saying no, sir.
There is a spotted royal also, which looks like that common Pierrot. The spotted royal. If next time you search the internet, you search for spotted royal. Okay, and you'll see that how beautiful that royal is. It's very rare. Only a few reports from Western Ghats. There's a royal called branded royal, which is also as rare as the spotted royal. And there's a banded royal, which is much commoner than the three royals. So apart from these three royals, there are three more royals: the spotted royal, the banded royal, and the branded royal. So these three royals are all there. You can find the life cycle of except spotted royal, which has not been photographed, and life cycle from Western Ghats has not been studied. But the rest, all the royals, the life cycles are also there in the Indian Foundation of Butterflies website. Please do visit those. See so amazing stuff there. Their images are there in the website. Okay. Next.
Yes, so you can stop sharing your screen. We can.
Okay, we can stop the sharing the screen.
Yeah. So Monish Kumar again is asking, do you think Wildlife Protection Act 1972 helps to conserve butterflies?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No act can conserve butterflies until and unless the law is enforced strictly. See, I'll tell you frank, I'll tell you that we have the crimson rose, which is listed as a Schedule 1 species, even our denied egg which is listed as a Schedule 1 species. Do you think the forest department is going to come and catch a small boy who is having a dead a crimson rose in his diary, a wing of a dead crimson rose? That is, these rules are to be enforced only for those who try to violate and do crime. So there are reports of butterflies being poached in Western Ghats and sold out as trophies. Okay, this also is there. Even foreign researchers tend to come to India and illegally, take specimens, collect specimens. All things are happening, despite of this Wildlife Protection Acts. Many butterflies which actually need protection because of their charisma, they are not under the Wildlife Protection Act. So it has to be revised, and it has to be revised drastically. Lot of revision is required. Many species which are in the schedule should be brought out of the schedule, and many species which require to be put on the schedule because of the charisma and the rarity, and this should be done in due course of time. I don't know when, God knows, because butterflies are very small and very negligible in the food chain. People are talking about tigers and elephants. They don't talk about butterflies. That's why you have got a butterfly month. This we are celebrating. Sensitize people about that. Thank you.
So the next question is by Sanaj from Nepal. He's asking how many blues are found in our highland?
In
Highland.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't have an answer for that. I'm not gone into describing. I'm not saying everything of our country. So how can I say talk about Thailand? So I'm talking about Western Ghats. There are 102 species, and I limit my knowledge to that at this point of time.
Sir, he's telling highland, not highland. That means high elevation.
High elevation. Okay. Thank you very much. I thought Thailand. So because of that, sorry for that miscommunication. So highland basically we have got low elevations, that is sea level up to 100 meters. And you've got mid elevation beyond 100 meters, maybe beyond 200 meters up to 700 to 800 meters. They are called out to 1,000 meters, we can say. And they have got high elevations. In high elevations in Western Ghats, we find the spotted royal, we find the white disc hedge blue, we find the white hedge blue. These are the most prolific species which are found in the blues, which are found in the higher areas, higher elevations. We are looking for this spotted royal, always spotted at Periyar, Munnar, even in Ooty, and in case of Ponmudi near Trivandrum, they have been spotted at higher elevations. They have not been spotted at lower elevations. And white disc hedge blue, I told you, it's always found in the higher elevations. And other in mid elevations, a lot of butterflies are found in the mid elevations. That includes your plain hedge blue, which is found in mid elevations. In lower elevations, we are having this the lilac hedge blue, which is found in lower elevations, and the line blues are found in lower elevations, and six-line blues are also found in the lower elevations. The Nakadumas are found at lower elevations. So it is oak blues are also found at lower elevations. All the oak blues, mostly everything is found in the lower elevations. And higher elevations, butterflies are very limited, and they are rarity, and some of them are common. But if I talk about in general, there are other species which are coexist with this rare butterflies in the higher elevations.
So the next question is by Bias. She's asking, sir, how to distinguish scarce-shot Cerulean and common-shot Cerulean by underwing?
No way. There are no identification keys. Just like plumbeous silver line cannot be differentiated from common silver line, the same is the case of scarce-shot silver line, because they have got dry season and the wet season forms also. We can say that this could be scarce-shot silver line because of the yellowish or the yellowish base color of the skin and more reddish spots, but that is not a key. So I will not try to bank on or put my stamp on that identification key. Of course, we need to see the open wing, and especially for the males. There is no way you can differentiate. Till then, there is no distinguished feature which is found for scarce shot from the common shot, except for that blue, which is going beyond the 2B, that vein 2B in the forewing.
So we don't have any questions in the chat window. So for all the participants, we have 40 plus participants now. If you have any questions, please send in the chat window. We'll wait for a couple more minutes, or we'll end the session. Ashok sir, a personal question. You didn't tell us how to differentiate between a common line blue and tailless line blue if the common line blue doesn't have a tail.
So it is, if you see, I will take you, and if you see browse I found butterflies, you will see that markings in the tailless line blue hind wing is much more oriented. It is having more orientation, rather more actually it is more organized than in case of common line blue. That is the only way to distinguish. It's very organized marginal bands. in case of tailless land blue.
Sir, can you explain using your slides, sir, which you had mentioned?
This slide I cannot show, but I can present it. I'll show you IFB. That is the best place to show.
Okay.
I'll go and try to share something which is okay. Do we have a window? Basic window sharing. I will show Google Chrome. Okay. So I'm sharing Google Chrome.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
go and show I found butterflies. I can show you the difference between Prosotas nora and Prosotas dubiosa. Yes. No, dubiosa. That is the tailless land blue. If you see the, okay, I'll go and try to see. But sometimes it's so variable that it is very difficult to tell. Sometimes it's found that, see, what is the most significant, you can see it here. This particular both discal spots, the V formation, it is very, very prominent in case of a tailless line blue, which is not in the case of a common line blue. If you see the common line blue, it is not that prominent in case of common. That's how I distinguish. That's how I distinguish. I go to Prosotas nora. I go to Prosotas. See the nora. If you see that it's so variable, it's so variable. See, this is not that. This you can see this band, which is not that deep. Those formation of pyramids are not that deep. What happened? Can you see this? This band, it is not that
prominent.
Prominent. It's not that deep. That's how I distinguish in field common line blue from the tailless line. Okay.
Okay, sir.
I think I have made up my point.
Yes, sir.
Very clear.
Very clear, na?
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Thank you, Nagaraji. So I'll stop sharing.
Yes, sir.
How to stop sharing? Oh, stop sharing.
Yeah. So we'll take one last question. It's by Gauri Nayak. The question is, sir, why the butterfly is named as Forget Me Not?
Oh my God, that's something which is, if you, I'll tell you a story. I will not go to Forget Me Not, but you should ponder upon this story which I'm going to tell you before I basically end my show. You know that all those cute butterflies which visit the flowers and eat the fruits and look gorgeous are named after the British monarchic structures, the barons, the dukes, the duchess. Okay, have you seen a butterfly feeding shit is named as duke or duchess?
Nawab.
No, Nawab and Rajas are the name given to Indian butterflies which feed on excreta and flesh, decaying flesh. Why they have not named them as dukes and duchess? This is my question.
Yeah, correct.
People are fighting over common names, and my opinion is that is so much derogatory, and it was having a vested interest to name these butterflies in that way. They have named all those elegant fruit and flower eaters or feeders as dukes and barons and duchess, and those who are feeding, shit and flesh, they have been named as Nawabs and Rajas. To demean the cause of Indian that monarchic system, they have done that. If I get a chance to rename butterflies, I'll rename these Nawabs as common duke. Kind of. I'm telling you to be frank. And people are fighting over common names should be Indian Nawab or common Nawab. If somebody may second me, if I'm right at any 1%.
Correct, sir. You are correct.
Huh?
You are very much correct.
So the Britishers, those the imperialistic, those ruling, those monarchic dynasty which ruled over India, they gave the common names of our Indian butterflies. We should change the common names. Let the binomial names be like that. If we see that some names are derived to the cause of Indian Indian system or Indian ethos of Indian culture, we should rename it.
Jezebel.
Definitely.
Jezebel also.
Huh?
Jezebel.
No, okay. Jezebel is okay. Jezebel is not in the terms of Indianness. So they have deliberately done that Nawabs and Raja. Deliberate naming is bad, too bad for us. And we're feeling proud of Indian Nawab and Indian that Black Raja.
We should have a topic.
Over it, and we are fighting for the common name, whether it should be Indian Nawab or common Nawab. I feel disgusted sometimes. They don't see how they have been named.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you very much. I think I have made my point. So names are all given by Britishers. None of the names are given by Indian except for the latest entry, which is called the Banded Tit by Krishnamay Kunde. This is the only name I think which is given to a butterfly which is discovered or in Indian subcontinent recently in the last few years.
I think it was in 2015, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So I think we don't have any more questions, sir. Before we end, thank you so much, Ashok, sir, for being part of this series for the Big Butterfly Month. And thank you for clearing all the clues for confusing blues.
Thank you very much. Thank you for patiently hearing me. My friends, Rohit, Sebi, and most of them are very close to me. Babul Raj is also there. And all the ladies, gorgeous ladies who have joined this show. Thank you very much.
Presentation, sir. Very good presentation.
Huh?
Presentation, Nagaraj.
Nagaraj is also there. Yeah. My dear elder brother is also there, Nagaraj. Thank you very much. Namrata, thank you. And all Engars and Pooja and Usha, thank you very much. And hope this will help you. And this video will be available shortly on YouTube, I think. Saran?